We will cover today chapter 1 from the separation process engineering textbook from Philip Wankat. And I will cover today a brief introduction to separation and process engineering. And this is as part of your course 41603 separation processes. So let's start by an introduction. Well, separations are crucial in chemical engineering. Chemical plants commonly have 40 to 70% of both capital and operating costs in separations. Typically, raw materials are purified in separation devices and fed to the chemical reactor. Unreacted feed is separated from the reaction products and recycled back to the reactor, while products must be further separated and purified before they can be sold. So as you can see in this image I'm presenting, you can see the importance of separation in a chemical processing plant. We can see this easily with an analogy. For example, when we are cooking a chicken soup, we peel the veggies, we discard the leaves, and all is added to the pot, the reactor, and all together with a whole chicken. Upon completion, chicken bones are removed and chicken pieces are added back to the soup. An example of separation in our body are our kidneys. Essentially, they are a membrane that removes water and impurities from blood. Let's go through the equilibrium stage concept. This is a simplification that assumes that the stages are equilibrium stages, applicable when the process can be constructed as a series of discrete stages in which the two phases are contacted and then separated. The two separated phases are assumed to be in equilibrium with each other. For example, in distillation, a vapor and a liquid are commonly contacted on a metal plate with holes in it. Because the intimate constant, solute can transfer from one phase to another. Another important definition we need to go through, that is part of chapter 1, is unit operation. This is the basic design principles for a given separation method that are always the same. For example, the basic principles of distillation are always the same whether we are separating ethanol from water or different hydrocarbons. Consequently, distillation, absorption, extraction are called often unit operations. Stage by stage. We will use these methods stage by stage, where calculation is completed for one stage, and then the results are used for calculation of the next stage to develop basic understanding. The next concept we need to review from your textbook is equilibrium. So, separation processes that we are going to study in this course are based on the equilibrium stage concept, which states that the streams leaving a stage are in equilibrium. Consider a vapor and a liquid that are in contact with each other. In this case, liquid molecules are continually vaporizing, while vapor molecules are continually condensing. If two chemical species are present, they will, in general, condense and vaporize at different rates. When not at equilibrium, the liquid and the vapor can be at different pressure and temperature and be present in different mole fractions. At equilibrium, temperature, pressure, and fractions of the two phases cease to change. Although molecules continue to evaporate and condense, the rate at which each species condenses is equal to the rate at which it evaporates. Although on a molecular scale, nothing has stopped, on the macroscopic scale, we will usually observe these processes. There are no further changes in temperature, in pressure, or in composition. What are these equilibrium conditions then? Well, first of all, for the case of the thermal point of view or the heat transfer, these stops and the temperature of the two phases are equal. If we look this from a mechanical point of view, the forces between vapor and liquid balance. In the stage separation processes we will study, this implies that the pressures are equal. If the interface between liquid and vapor is curved, equal forces do not imply equal pressure. So have in mind that, because we will need to use Laplace equation. The chemical potential, that is another point of view, or that we need to revise in terms of the equilibrium conditions. If looking from the chemical potential point of view, for a phase in equilibrium, we will see that the rate at which each species is vaporizing is equal to the rate at which each species is condensing. In general, the compositions of liquid and vapor are not equal. If the compositions were equal, no separation could be achieved in any equilibrium process. If temperature and pressure are constant, equal rates of vaporization and condensation require a minimum in the free energy of the system. And just to recall, chemical potential is a change in the Gibbs free energy with respect to changing amount of the component with pressure, temperature, and amounts of other compounds being constant. Now that we review equilibrium briefly, let's look at mass transfer concepts, because these become very important to analyze our separation systems. In the vapor-liquid or VL contacting system shown before in the little box in the previous slide, the vapor and the liquid V and L will not be initially at equilibrium. By transferring mass from one phase to another, equilibrium can be approached. So if we recall our basic mass transfer equation, where mass transfer rate equals area times mass transfer coefficient times the driving force, we will see why mass transfer becomes very important in these systems. For equilibrium stages separations, we could ideally calculate the mass transfer based on the transfer within each phase, V and L, vapor and liquid diagram, using a driving force that is the concentration between the bulk fluid and the concentration at the interface. Since this is difficult, we often make a number of assumptions and use a driving force that is the difference between the actual concentration and the concentration we would have if equilibrium were achieved. Then we can reach these definitions for the rate over volume that involves the overall gas and liquid mass transfer coefficient, the interface area per unit volume, and the mole fractions both in the liquid and in the gas. By definition, at equilibrium, we have that the fraction in the gas that is represented by Y can approach the equilibrium concentration. Same for the liquid fraction that is depicted by X. So as these fractions approach equilibrium, the driving forces in the previous equation approach to zero and mass transfer rates decrease. You have to have in mind that in order to be reasonably close to equilibrium, we need high values of K's and or the area.